This is a puller for a pulley, as it happens. So it's a pulley puller. It was for a RAV4. I believe it was a Petrol model, about 2000-ish. The pictures I was sent over gave me some idea of what I was needing and some measurements. So I managed to find a bit of suitable scrap, round, flat plate. Set about putting on the lathe. I'm about to change the jaws round to external jaws. And here I am just squaring it up. You can see I've smoothed off the edges. It was a bit rough. I believe it was a wheel carrier of some description. The first part was a bit of roughing out, and it was quite an intermittent cut. It did clear up quite nicely in the end, but looking back on the video here, I'm thinking, I did have that tool sticking out a bit far, and I was running it a little bit too fast. Hence some of the fireworks you probably see every now and then in the video clips. Quite spectacular, but probably not that good. I did end up working it out and slowing it down towards the final cuts. I think I must have turned the light off there because of the light display I was getting. A bit pretentious maybe, but quite entertaining. But it did clean up reasonably well in the end. This side was not brilliant, the side which it had welded on. There was a few deep bits there in the end. I didn't bother to clean it up super smooth. They cleaned up well enough though. I'd imagine you've possibly got to be a little bit careful with fine swarf, because metal fine enough will actually catch fire. So I flipped the part over and I'm working on the other side. Okay, you can still see I'm running way too fast. Perhaps somebody needs to invent a variable speed drive that actually runs off a DRO or something. So as you feed in, it speeds up. Be a quite handy little tool, especially if you're machining larger bits like these. So this side I think I probably took about 3 passes on to get to this point, but you can hear I've slowed it down a bit now. But you can see the centre part of the machining was really looking quite rough, and I think that's because I'd slowed it down. So you'll see in a second I stop it and change up a gear. Now, if somebody out there is a professional machinist, what do they do to get over the problem with like a rough machining because of speed? Be interested to know. Definitely a bit of a bird's nest going on there. Not that I think any bird would want to nest in it, to be fair. So I was drilling it out, Didn't use any oil. It's only a short piece of plate. I think it was only about 12mm thick. The bolt I was using was M12 by 2. No, tell a lie, it's M14 by 2. I sped this bit up. It's a bit laborious me watching Tapper Fred for 3 minutes or so. Instead, I'll make you watch it for 30 seconds or so. So I decided to do this before I machined the outside, because obviously machining the edge was going to be a pain. And my idea was to mount it in the lathe, use the nut and the bolt locked up against the faceplate to hold it in place while I spin it up. Only problem with that was, no matter what I did, I could not, as you can see the bolt in the background, I could not seem to get it to run nicely. In the end, what I did was made a cup to go on the live centre to push against the part, and I simply held the bolt loosely to give me drive, and then a few taps to centre it up, and that worked really well. I didn't want to take any thick cuts though, so you can see I'm just skimming away nice and gently. I think this was the final cut on that. And you can see it cleaned it up really nicely in the end. I think I shampooed the edges after that. The bolt, put a taper on it, and then it was over to the milling machine. And pretty much that's where all my video failed, which was probably the interesting part really. I put it on a milling machine, and this is about all I've got. Basically I just centered it up and just drilled 4 holes in the appropriate places, so it was nothing too exciting. But so this is the photographs I've got of the job as it was. That's on the car, and you can see from those photographs behind the original pulley was nothing but plastic, so they couldn't lever it off or pry it off. So all in all, it came out quite well. So I'm going to leave you with some photographs of the job so far. Please subscribe and join me on Facebook. If you join me on Facebook, by the way, you will find that I update with loads of bits and pieces as I go along. A lot of stuff that you don't see on YouTube.